Hey everybody, welcome back to Catch Cook Repeat. So today it's a little cold outside, it's rainy, it's just a dreary day out, and I thought to warm myself up a little bit, I'm gonna make some deer chili. So we'll start on that here. So I've already went ahead and pre-prepared whatever needs to be really cut up. I need to cut up 3 more things, but that's gonna go in later. So I'm not doing it right now. And I'm just going to run through real quick what I've got here and what you're going to need for this recipe. It's simple. It's kind of just not a lot of preparation. You just get canned stuff basically and throw it in there with it. There's very minimal cutting and chopping for this. So in here, a whole green bell pepper, 3 cloves of garlic, and half of a white onion in here. I'm gonna put some mushrooms in it later. This is something that's gonna get cut up later. It's gonna just basically, I'm not gonna chop it or anything like that. I'm just gonna cut it into slices. Have some tomato paste. There you go. Tomato paste that we're gonna use. It's going to thicken up the chili so it's not gonna be watery or anything like that. I have some diced tomatoes and green chilies. I like this to be a little bit spicy, so that's why I got it with green chilies. You can just get regular diced tomatoes if you don't like it too spicy. Have red kidney beans, pinto beans. I have some jalapenos, a beer to put in there. Add a little bit of a hoppy flavor to it. If you don't like that, you don't have to add it. I like it. I think it adds a little bit of depth to the chili, a little bit something different flavor. And then I have a little bit of deer meat over here. I didn't have a lot left. This is deer from last year. I'm kind of running low on deer meat this year, but I just took some deer steaks and just cut them up and diced them. Got that right here. It's maybe about a pound. It's not a lot. This is just for me. My wife doesn't eat deer meat, so this is just for me. This is a small recipe, but you can basically double it and add more into it. And then I gotta grab the spices real quick and I'll show you those. So as far as spices go, it's gonna be super simple and easy again. I'm gonna do fresh cracked black pepper, chili powder, and some ground cumin. Also, I don't think I mentioned it, but I'm going to be using some strips of bacon here. This doesn't really matter as long as it's kind of fatty, because where deer meat is very lean, you have to have a little bit of fat in there, and you can use cooking oil, I guess, but I like the flavor of bacon in there, so I'm using some bacon in it. So I've got this pan on about a medium heat, and got about 4 pieces of that bacon that I've just kind of cut up with some scissors. I'm going to put that in there, get some of the grease build up, and then I'm going to put in the vegetables and kind of let them get a little bit tender, and then we'll go from there. So start out nice and hot. Now I'm just going to let that cook down a little bit until it tenders. So this bacon's cooked down a little bit now, so I'm going to pull it out of there, leave all that grease in there, and it's not too done yet, so I'll be able to throw this back in on the chili for a little bit more added protein. We're going to take our veggies, throw them in, then we're going to let that cook down a little bit, and we'll add in our deer meat on top of that. So it's already getting a little tender and translucent. I don't want it to get all the way there because we still have to cook it some more when we add all the other stuff in, like the tomatoes and all that. It's going to be brought back up to the heat, so it's going to continue to cook after that. So we don't want to get it too done, or it's going to be overcooked. So now I'm going to throw our deer meat in on top of that. So I'm going to go ahead and put some black pepper in on there. That's about maybe like a tablespoon of black pepper. So now I'm going to add in our tomatoes. There we go. Add these in. Stir that as well. I'm going to go ahead and throw our bacon back in there as well. And then I'm going to add some water into this. Just can here. So just a little bit of water in there as well. And I'm going to go ahead and add our beans as well. So I've drained both of these cans. I'm just going to throw them in there. Just 1 can of each. I'm going to add about 3 tablespoons of chili powder. And when I put water in there, I'll put around a cup of water, I'd say. So, not a whole lot of water. But you can also use like beef stock if you want. And it won't dilute it as much. And it'll still maintain a really good flavor, so. Now I'm going to add the rest of this cumin in. I don't really have a lot left. I'd say it's probably about half a tablespoon maybe. Throw that in there. And we'll mix that in as well. And then we'll do a heaping tablespoon of tomato paste. This will, what that's going to do is going to thicken up our chili. And then I might add more of that later, depending on how much it thickens it up. If it doesn't thicken it enough, I'll add a little more. And if it does too much, I can add a little bit of water or beef stock to it. Now I want to mix this real quick, and then we're just going to let it simmer. So now that this is getting a little bit further along, it's starting to thicken up a little, I'm going to go ahead and add in some mushrooms. And then after this, I'm going to add in some jalapenos as well. And now I'm going to go dice up, or not dice up, I'm going to slice it up and add some jalapenos. Now I have about 3 jalapenos here that I've got sliced up. Add that in there as well. Stir it again. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn the heat down to like a medium low. And I'm going to put the lid on top. And we're just going to let it simmer for a little while. I almost forgot. We're going to take this beer and put about half of it in there. Because this is a 16-ounce can, so we're not going to need the whole thing. Alright. And I am going to add a little bit more tomato paste in there to let it thicken up a little bit more. Now we're going to throw that lid back on top and let it go for a little bit. So now here is the finished product. Try to bring it closer here and get the camera to focus on a little bit. I think that's focused, kinda, sorta. I'm going to top it with a little bit of shredded pepper jack cheese. Mix that cheese in there. Now, you can eat it like this, just with a spoon, or you put crackers in there, or how I prefer to do it, take some tortilla chips, and basically just use it like a dip more than anything. Or you can just break your cracker or chip off in it, but nice and cheesy. Nothing better than a nice bowl of spicy and hot chili on a nice cold rainy day. But try this recipe out if you like to. Leave me a like and a comment. Tell me how you thought about it or what you thought about it, and give it a try. Maybe subscribe also if you enjoyed it. But thank you for watching. Catch you in the next one.